Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to House Groups. In 1884, there was a 15-year-old kid who caught typhoid and tragically died, and his parents wanted to establish a memorial for him. So they met with a guy named Charles Eliot, who was the president of Harvard University, and said, hey, we want to do something. And they were this plain-looking couple, and so he said, well, maybe you could sponsor a scholarship. And the mom said, no, we want to do something more significant. We were thinking maybe a building. And Eliot kind of chuckled and said, well, I think that'd be a little too expensive for you. So they left, and a year later, Charles Eliot learned that they had established a $26 million, which is $750 million in today's money, memorial to their son in California called Leland Stanford University. Maybe you've heard of Stanford before. It's so easy to judge a book by its cover. So easy to take one look at people and think we know their story and we know who they are. We live in a world that is absolutely obsessed with appearances and abilities. We spend a whole lot of time and money on them. The average American spends almost 140 hours a year just getting ready in the morning. That's like a full week just getting ready. We spend over $200,000 over the course of our lifetimes on our physical appearance. And in terms of building our resume and our skills and then, managing the image that other people have of how competent we are at our jobs, there are over 1.8 million conferences hosted in the United States of America last year. We're obsessed with externals. This week we kicked off a new series called The Warrior Poet, where we're taking a look at the life of David. And as David leapt onto the pages of world history, we saw God kind of chuckling at how obsessed human beings are with externals. He sent Samuel to go appoint a new king among the sons of Jesse, and Jesse paraded all of his 7 oldest sons before Samuel, and there were some that were tall and big and handsome, and they looked the part, and God said, no, 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 and finally they went out to get the runt of the litter and brought in David, and God said, that's the guy. And verse 7 in 1 Samuel chapter 16 is just this incredible, powerful verse where Samuel looks at the guy who looks like a king, and God says, no, you don't understand. I'm not looking for the same things you're looking for. I don't look at the same things people look at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. And so he picked David, who by appearance and by abilities had no business being king, because for God, who we are matters infinitely more than how we appear. And I wonder if we really believe that, what would change about the way we invest our time, the way we invest our lives, the way we cultivate our social media feeds, the things that stress us out, the fears that cripple us, because we know people are judging us by the way that we look and the way that we appear and the image that we give off. But in the end, God says it's character that counts. And because God is more concerned with our character than our appearance, sometimes he leads us to places we don't want to be, and he allows us to experience seasons we don't really want to go through because he's doing something in us in order that later he might be able to do something through us. I mean, God told David, you're going to be the next king, and then he got sent straight back out to the pasture to hang out with sheep. I mean, he got promised the top and sent straight to the bottom because God was developing faith and character in him. And I think for us, in the seasons that life doesn't look the way we want it to look, and the seasons where we aren't quite where we want to be, where we're wondering when God's going to lead us to the places he's promised us, we got to remember a waiting season isn't a wasted season because God is working in that season. He's so much more concerned with our hearts than he is with our appearances. And so I just think in the middle of a world where our appearances and our abilities seem to be the thing that we get judged by and seem to be the thing that matter more than anything else, we can live counterculturally because we know we have a God who's interested far more in who we are on the inside and who's working there to develop faith and trust and integrity and character on the inside of us, no matter what the world sees when they look at us. And that gives me hope, and it gives me peace that I don't have to live my life stressed out and worried about putting up some sort of front and keeping up appearances, because God doesn't look at the outside, he looks at our hearts.